Free today because some, actually many, gave all. It's Memorial Day weekend, and I kind of wanted to get out there as a reminder to all of us about what this is all about, why it's so important. It's not only patriotism, obviously, I'm a big patriotic guy, and why I think that builds community, why it's so important to have that thread running through our complete society, but also just gratitude for how many souls were lost defending this freedom of ours. I said this on Friday, I know, but 1.2 million Americans, 1.2 million, by their best estimation, in our almost 250-year history, never made it back. 1.2 million. But this is important to remember, too. I think it's safe to say that all of them would love us to enjoy this freedom we have as well today, too. So I think both worlds are possible. I think it's possible to never call it Happy Memorial Day. It's not about sales. It's not about, retail stuff. And it's really not totally about having the day off. But it's also completely possible to honor them by enjoying this weekend, and through enjoying it, respecting what they did for us as well. I think that balance is completely there and completely capable. So welcome to it. Hope you are going to have a great... I always want you to watch or listen, but I hope you're watching or listening to this later, because I hope you're enjoying your day, and I hope you have the day off. But you OGs that are with me right now, doing the live stream with me, God love you. Welcome to it. Thanks for finding Wicked Radio live stream, part of Wicked Wisdom with Bill Adams. You know the deal, all the platforms, even the audio podcast too, wherever you like to get those. And make sure you give me a follow here on X so we can let you know when the live stream's on as well. So here we are, a big, big day. A lot of things happening here. A lot of things are different this Memorial Day. You can see it with what happened at West Point yesterday. Pete Hegseth, the defense secretary, made a big statement, and they made a big produced from the administration ad that ran during the Coca-Cola 600 yesterday. It was like it might have been a 120-second spot about the new direction, at least of the military, and, to honor veterans, but also kind of gave a little preview of where they're going with that. That was pretty wild. But the same hideous people are sending out the same hideous messages. It won't be all like this. I don't have a lot for you today because I think we all want to get into our Monday off, right? Hillary Clinton, to no one's surprise, sent out the most tone-deaf, clueless post on X over the weekend that I think is actually worth bringing up, because I think it explains so much about her, about people who identified with her, this fellowship of the miserable. Just, we all know them, right? Like in real life, just the miserable, constant complaining legions of people. I'm not going to get into left or right or Democrat or Republican, because I think you can guess on your own where they lean. But now you know where it comes from. It's from her. This is why she connected with those kinds of people so well. This is, I shouldn't have been surprised, but I was. Okay, so this is her Memorial Day weekend message to the country. Hillary Clinton, this close to becoming president. She was First Lady, as we all know the background story, Secretary of State as well, more on that in a second. This is her message for this weekend for all America, which is such a social weekend for all of us, right? This is Hillary. I'm giving you a mission, for this Memorial Day holiday weekend. I want you to talk to two people, friends, neighbors, cookout attendees, about why Trump's proposed budget would be a disaster for American kids. We owe the next generation every chance, and this isn't it. And then she has, I don't know if you saw this actual post, she cut off the comments, that she has in bright red this list of things, talking points for you to go to your cookout, your barbecue, your gathering, the beach, and find at least two people and start talking about this propaganda. I can't, there are so many things to pick apart on this, which are hilarious. It's amazing. First of all, let's start with this. I'm giving you a mission. How about that? Who says that? What kind of a leader actually says that? Her and her minions and her followers. Again, I call them the Legion of the Miserable. Hillary Clinton giving you a mission to go talk to people. Here's the second part. If you are on this mission to show up at a social gathering with mixed company, maybe it's a work event, family event most likely, some kind of gathering where there's different people, and you want to get these talking bullet points off to them, you're a horrible person. I mean, just horrible. If you use this opportunity where we honor, like I just said, all of those Americans that gave all for our freedom, you use that to push this political message, you're just terrible. You shouldn't be among people. I mean that. You shouldn't be in public. You should wallow away on your couch, eating bonbons in a Snuggie, watching old Hillary Clinton videos and The View. That's what you should do, honestly. And now, but here's the takeaway, though. It's good. It's good news. Now you know who the leader of all those miserable souls is. It's her. It's Hillary Clinton. Here's another piece of advice. Okay, if you happen to run into one of these people today at a barbecue or a cookout or a gathering, pool party of any kind, right? And they start doing this, and they start talking these exact talking points, you know where they came from. You know it came from Hillary, their hero, their goddess, right? So if somebody does chirp at you about all this, about the political stuff when you're trying to enjoy American freedom and a great patriotic American holiday, bring up something about Hillary. Here's your counterpoint. And keep it simple. It doesn't have to get nasty. Just bring up, say, yeah, well, that's interesting. Why don't we ask Hillary about Benghazi when she was Secretary of State? Speaking Memorial Day, I'm reminded of this. Why did she let 4 Americans die in Benghazi? And she didn't take any responsibility for it. Bring that up to them. One of those Americans, by the way, I went to high school with, Glenn Doherty. Bring that up, because Hillary never wants to talk about that. Unbelievable. Sending you on a mission. How obnoxious is that, by the way? All right, but over the weekend, too, it's a big commencement address graduation ceremony weekend. It's been going on for a couple of weeks, but this past weekend, or going on right now, is a big one for some of the bigger schools. Well, Trump went to West Point, talking about patriotism. It was a heck of an address, but when you compare this to the one that happened at Wake Forest yesterday, wow, it's like really watching 2 movies. As the great Scott Adams would say, watching 2 movies on 2 different screens. Here's Trump at West Point.
You chose honor and you chose sacrifice. And instead of business suits and dress shoes, you chose muddy boots and fatigues, keeping yourself in shape. Because West Point cadets don't just have the brightest minds, you also have the bravest hearts and the noblest souls. You're amazing people.
He's right about that. They are amazing people. Listen, any big institution is going to have their bad apples. I get it, and that's something that actually Pete Hegseth, the new defense secretary, has complained about. Some of the people coming out of West Point maybe don't have the best the country's best interests at heart, maybe, but most of them absolutely do. Over the weekend, when I was on the road, on Friday when I was in the hotel room doing the show, we were there for a business conference, my wife and I met a West Point graduate who's an executive now, and they're just, a different breed. Not only militarily what they learn, obviously, and then they have to do their service, but Trump's right about that. Academically, to get into and graduate from West Point that's really something. They are a cut above, let me tell you. They are special people for sure. So I'm glad he gave that address, and I'm glad it was a good one. Now compare that to what you just heard to what happened at Wake Forest. Nothing against Wake Forest students. I don't know anything bad about the actual institution, but they brought on, and I'm sure they signed him over at least a year ago, Scott Pelley from CBS. Now it's interesting where he works because what we were talking about this past week about CBS, the lawsuit, and this does tie back into Trump again because he's such a newsmaker. CBS is in talks to settle that lawsuit. All goes back to the selectively edited Kamala video. Remember where they actually made her sound intelligent? They're going to have to settle for tens of millions of dollars. They've already had to fire staff. They got to cut back. It's broken a lot of trust in CBS News, except for the Hillary people, but it's them. So Scott Pelley from 60 Minutes was the commencement address speaker at Wake Forest over the weekend. Very interesting. You don't think this guy is bitter and broken and scared himself at what's happening to how America views all of this fake news? How we've all pulled the rug, the curtain up to see what really goes on, how they actually make the sausages. Now remember what Trump said at West Point, and now compare this to Scott Pelley, CBS's 60 Minutes at Wake Forest over the weekend. Wow.
But in this moment, this morning, our sacred rule of law is under attack. Journalism is under attack. Universities are under attack. Freedom of speech is under attack.
So dramatic.
And insidious fear is reaching through our schools,
yes,
our businesses,
Here's somebody that I truly think, and I think this is an example of somebody in the media that doesn't understand how lost they are. I think he's truly that out of touch. I really believe it. You can tell, speaking of fear, you can hear and sense the fear in his voice. And everything he said right there is a direct, I think, reaction to his whole world being turned upside down. And a lot of them are like that. A lot of the people, the DC insiders, the media insiders, they're in their bubble, completely tone deaf and clueless. They don't understand what's happening to their world. It's really true. They are shaken. So Scott Pelley said, how about what he's saying there? These institutions are under attack. Freedom of speech under attack. The media. And all of this fear. But all of the fear came from them. They did this. And he's part and parcel of this whole thing. He's a major contributing factor and one of the news directors of one of the content creators of 60 Minutes, which we know has they're just about to lose a major lawsuit and going to have to settle for tens of millions of dollars because of what they've done, and they got caught red-handed. That's a guy that's stoking the fear. That's what's coming from them, and visibly shaking when he gives the commencement address at Wake Forest. Those folks are broken. Their world is changing forever, and it's a good thing. It's a good thing that people found out about it. Not everybody. You're going to have plenty of people in your lives that it will still believe everything, hook, line, and sinker, everything CBS News or NBC, CNN, anybody, or 60 Minutes, of course, because it used to be credible with Mike Wallace, anything the media tells them. But there's less and less of those people every single day. And people like Scott Pelley are shaken about it. Absolutely shook. Compare it. Compare that to hope and positivity, and we're honoring your patriotism, the West Point commencement address, compared to Wake Forest. And those people had to sit there through his, hour-long speech and listen to that. And I'm sure there were people in the crowd going, yeah, Scott, you're right. We're sending our daughter into a world that's full of fear. Well, you know where the fear came from? Them, him, the media did. The corrupt media. So many of our problems, if we had an actual, true, free press that actually held all of them, that held Republicans and held Democrats and held government officials and non-government officials and business, if we held them accountable and weren't corrupt, how many of these problems would not exist right now? The fear people are feeling is change. The fear was created by them in the media, and he just proved it right there. That's a shaken, broken person right there. And they had to say, God, can you imagine? Commencement addresses are tough anyway. At somebody's graduating, and you got to sit through it, and then you got to sit through that. Good Lord, unbelievable. All right, jumping back to Trump for a quick second. This is the newsiest thing. Like I said, I don't have a lot for you today, but this is the newsiest thing that happened over the weekend. I don't know whether it was coming back from West Point or going to there. But anyway, outside of Marine One, Trump was asked about Putin. This kind of puts a pin in the balloon of all the people that said, Trump's a Putin puppet. He's Putin's buddy. He wants to be king. If you were a puppet of any other world leader, would you actually say this to the press? This is what Trump said about Putin, and he's not happy about it, about that war, which they're supposed to be talking about a peace deal, and there's more violence over the weekend. First of all, I guess Putin's aircraft was attacked by drones. He's okay. And then Putin for himself was sending missiles into Ukraine, into Kiev, into civilian areas. Just horrific all the way around. This is what Trump said about it, and he's not happy.
Yeah, I'll give you an update. I'm not happy with what Putin's doing. He's killing a lot of people, and I don't know what the hell happened to Putin. I've known him a long time, always gotten along with him, but he's sending rockets into cities and killing people, and I don't like it at all, okay? We're in the middle of talking, and he's shooting rockets into Kiev and other cities. I don't like it at all.
Mr. President, what do you want to do about that?
I'm surprised. I'm very surprised. We'll see what we're going to do.
So there you go. So somebody, again, you may be at a gathering today with mixed company. Oh, how about Trump, that Putin puppet? Here's your response. Just say, really? Because Trump just called Putin crazy. It was. At the end of that cut, he went in to call, he's going crazy, Putin is. If he was a puppet, would he really say that? I don't think so. One more thing about I just thought about here as it popped up into my little pinhead about the Scott Pelley commencement address for Wake Forest. It's always so interesting. It's always the people that say that democracy's under attack, the media's under attack, higher education's under attack. If it was, Scott, do you think you could say that before thousands at the Wake Forest University graduation address if it was really under attack the way you say it was? Or are you just gaslighting people again because that's what you've done for your entire career in the media? Again, you hear the kind of stuff like that, reframe it and think about that guy as an individual. He's scared. His whole world is turned upside down because he's in such a media bubble, he doesn't even realize the gaslighting he sent out into the rest of the country. That's your takeaway on that. All right. But we talked about it. I think the most important takeaway of all this morning is honoring our fallen. I still can't get over that stat. 1.2 million Americans, by their best estimation, never made it back fighting for our freedom. That's why we honor them. That's what Memorial Day is all about. But keep this in mind. I think every one of them would want us to also enjoy the holiday. It's this balance. It's this balance we can do both. We're capable of it. So most likely, you're going to some kind of a barbecue or a cookout or something, whatever it happens to be. Here's a little fluff for you. What are you going to encounter no matter where you are in the nation? You ready? This is one of those goofy surveys they always do around holidays. Instacart looked at the Memorial Day meat. Each state buys more than other states, with the assumption being that's what's going to be on the grill or the smoker or the charcoals. Who the hell knows? And they broke it out by region. And I don't think a lot of this is going to surprise you. The entire Midwest, says Instacart, is obsessed with bratwurst. Brats. Almost every state from Ohio to Colorado bought a ton of brats over Memorial Day weekend last year, and they're thinking that's not going to change this year. Texas, California, most states out west into steak. What kind, though? Skirt steak in Texas. That surprised me a little. Ribeyes in Arizona and Idaho, T-bones in Nevada, Utah, Wyoming, New Mexico, and beef flap in California? California, I don't know what that is. I think it's for fajitas, but I'm not sure. Ribs popular across the South, of course, and most states in the Northeast are putting meat between bread. Beef patties in Pennsylvania, New York, Connecticut, and Delaware, Rhode Island, and New Hampshire. Turkey burgers in New Jersey. Didn't see that coming, but there you go. And 3 states have a serious affection for chicken burgers, says the industry. They're all on the Canadian border: Washington, Montana, and North Dakota. Interesting. Chicken burgers. It's a good choice for some, I'm sure. The takeaway, though, is honor our vets, thank them for our freedom, and also enjoy your holiday and your day off because you deserve it. And I hope you do have a day off. I'm mad at you if you're working today. I hope you folks watching live, God love you. I always want you to watch and listen live, but hopefully if you're watching and listening, this is on the replay so that you can sleep in and enjoy your day. You get some hideous character like a Legion of the Hillary Miserable today talking politics at your barbecue. Counter with that. Exactly that. Ask Hillary about Benghazi. There's your response to that. And don't believe people from the media like Scott Pelley because those are broken people. That's the takeaway. All right. Thank you for your service. Thank you, vets, for our freedom. Enjoy today. Back at it tomorrow. Here's the other good thing about a holiday weekend. It makes the coming work week only 4 days. We'll take that, too. Thanks for finding me, as always. I appreciate you. Just look for, by the way, on X, it's right here. You're probably on the channel already, but it's at Wicked Bill Adams. Follow and like and share and all that good stuff. All the platforms and the audio podcast, like every other day, will be posted in just a couple of minutes if you're listening live. Appreciate your time, as always. Back at it tomorrow. Have a wicked, awesome Memorial Day. And thank you for everybody who made the ultimate sacrifice for us.